Recently, I have received quite a number of comments stating that I have written multiple attempts. What are the possible job opportunities I can get once I become a CA? How much salary I can expect? Do I even have a hope of getting a job in the first place? Etc. etc. This video is about finding the answers for all those questions. Once people become a CA, they can be categorized into two. One, people who are going to be self-employed, and two, people who are going to be working for others. Those who are planning to be self-employed, they can go to work in the form of practice or consulting or some other business. For them, the number of attempts really don't matter. No client is going to say, tell me at which attempt you cleared your CA, then I will give you this assignment. So if you are going to be self-employed after qualification, you really don't have to worry about the number of attempts. So this video is specifically made for those who are in the second category, planning to work for others but have taken multiple attempts. The number one question that everyone in this category asks is, will the count of my attempts matter? Will the recruiters specifically see it? The answer is 100% yes. The recruiters will see the number of attempts you took to clear CA, and it is indeed going to affect your job prospects. But you don't have to worry yet. I have a solution. Because I started from the same place where you are right now. The thoughts I share in this video are completely based on what I went through post-qualification till I got my first job, and also based on what I went through during that job. So let's get into the video. See, for a lot of things in this world, right from getting to switch seats in a plane to getting a job in a company is dependent on something called the likability factor. It is the first immediate and subconscious opinion we make on somebody or something. Our brains are pattern machines, and they have evolved to form opinions right at the first second to decide what to do with everything we encounter in daily life. Either it can be the person standing next to you in the bus stop, or it can be the food that's in front of you on a table. We need to decide immediately whether we should engage or disengage with them. The likability factor of a person or a thing increases when we find them either attractive, intelligent, safe, successful, or extremely useful. You clicked on this video because either you were convinced by the title or the thumbnail, or you already knew about me and have seen my videos previously. Either way, your brain convinced you that if you click on this video, you are going to get some value in the next 10 to 15 minutes. But the key thing to remember is your entire decision making process, whether to engage or disengage with this video, happened in a split second. Now imagine a person trying to recruit CAs, shortlisting 5 resumes out of 150 applications. Who do you think he will naturally go towards? Toward the most successful ones in the lot, right? Now, among those 150 applications, there is also a resume which has a huge time gap between foundation and inter, and then from the end of articleship till clearing CA final. The reason is obviously the number of attempts. When a recruiter comes across such a resume with, let's say, 12 attempts, the likability factor of the candidate immediately drops down to almost zero or even goes negative. So now there are two possibilities here. If the recruiter is from a blue chip MNC company where they have strict policies of hiring only first attempt CAs or rank holders, then your resume is going directly to the trash. You are not going to get a call from them. But then the second possibility is if the recruiter belongs to a tier 2 company where they have budget constraints, or even a big company but they are culturally flexible to hire people like us at the entry level, then we get a second look. And you will get a call for the interview from these second type of recruiters. Congratulations, you overcame the first and the biggest hurdle. Now, when you get called for the interview, definitely expect the terms of employment to be a bit unfair to you. See, if you had cleared in the first attempt, then in that situation, at the interview table, both you and the recruiter will have the same level of power. But in your case, since it is already too late for you, at the interview table, the recruiter will have the upper hand and then will try to leverage your situation and offer you a lower package by citing the number of attempts. Definitely expect this to happen. Apart from the salary number, there is also a high chance that you might not be recruited to the most profitable division in the company, or you might not get the best shift, or you might not get the profile that you were interested in, so on and so forth. But I would say you still take that job with both hands, because your first job is very important after you clear CA, especially when you have taken multiple attempts. You want to get recruited at the earliest possible. You don't want another big gap in your resume post qualification. So get your foot in the door, don't become choosy, don't bargain, don't haggle for that extra 1 lakh in the annual CTC. As long as the company is not apparently shady and you are offered any package of 7 lakhs or above, just go for it. The nail biting period is only till you get your appointment letter. Things are only going to get better for you after this point. The reason why I say this is that once recruited, the fact whether you are an All India rank holder or a person with 12 attempts is going to last for a period of maximum 1 month only. Once you cross that period, you are going to be judged purely based on your performance. By the time your first appraisal comes, and if you have not performed, no matter who you are, you will be shown your way out. That leads us to the next segment of 2 rules on how you can move from getting behind to getting ahead in your first job. Rule number 1. First of all, when you get into a job with a subpar salary, you might get to find that some other guy or a girl who is also a CA might be a rank holder or might have cleared in the first attempt, and they might have been recruited with a much higher package than yours, and you both might be in the same role doing the same work. Be okay with it, don't complain. Second, the other person in the team might get better audits or better part of the assignments, and you might have to do the legwork or even sometimes the nasty work. Be okay with that also, don't complain. We generally know that complaining is bad, but here specifically it will affect your likability factor. Remember, you already started with like minus 20 points in the eyes of your recruiter. In their eyes, you are still not a winner. Now, within 1 or 2 months from joining, if they keep seeing you complaining like a child for not getting those extra lakhs in the salary, new laptop, or that foreign audit, then you are only going to go down in their perception. When you are dependent on somebody for monthly income, the last thing you want to do is them looking down on you. So the rule number 1 is let everything appear unfair, but you don't complain. Now, how long should you tolerate all this? As a thumb rule, 3 years. The first 3 years are all about resume building. As long as that is happening, you don't worry about anything else. And 3 years is a decent length of time where your resume will start to get a better shape and the wounds of multiple attempts in the past will slowly disappear. In 3 years, you would have done a decent number of finalizations, completed enough number of audits, handled enough number of projects. So now you will have some list of achievements against your name. That way, your wounded past will be written off and the future recruiters will care only about what you did for your previous employer and definitely not going to pinpoint your attempts anymore. Rule number 2, focus on creating 4x value. My old boss used to say, an employee to become successful should generate at least 4x the value of their annual CTC. So if you are drawing 7 lakhs per annum, aim to generate at least 30 lakhs value in return to your company. Now you can provide value to the company in the form of big breakthroughs like a landmark audit finding, overhauling a factory's production process, or developing a new SOP that slashes the process time by 70%, so on and so forth. Apart from this, your value can also be generated by the accumulation of 100 tiny improvements you get here and there. Either way, go to any extent to prove that you are in no way less than the first attempter or a rank holder. And if you are working in a manufacturing company, try to spend as much time in the factory or the warehouse as possible. Because for a manufacturing company, that's where the real action takes place. Don't get this into your head that you are a CA now, so you would be just working in the AC room with a laptop. Especially if you are in internal audit and if you work in a goods-based company, you should be literally living inside the factory or the warehouse where the core products are bought, made, or moved. The longer you spend time there, the more integrated you become with the processes inside, and you can come up with as many cost-saving ideas as possible. Remember, the more cost you save, the more value you create. And if you work in a service-based business, you try to be as helpful as possible to the sales team. No matter how proudly we call ourselves as CAs, the departments where we work in a company like audit, accounts, or finance are still called support functions only. So the sales and marketing teams are the primary revenue generators. So it is natural that they have a bit more power inside an organization. So if you make sure you assist the sales and the marketing team, then the more value you end up creating. This can be done by giving them the MIS reports on time, giving them the best service quotation, or in any other way you try to make their life easier. But keep in mind that I'm not asking you to be extremely attached or fall in love with your company. You can be as detached as possible and still generate 4x value. As long as your employer is getting results from you, they are not going to care whether you are doing it out of love or doing it out of self-interest. Again, remember, your top goal for the first 3 years should only be about building your resume. Now that leads us to the next segment. What happens after 3 years? If you keep delivering 4x results year after year after year, your brand value in the organization goes way up. The moment you prepare the updated resume after 3 years, when you see the list of big achievements, your confidence also would have increased by 10x or 20x from where it was when you were a fresher. Also, if you keep producing great results consistently for 3 years, your name would have already spread across your organization. You have no idea the people at the hiring positions would be sniffing for talents who perform at 4x, 5x levels. The moment they notice that you are a star performer for back-to-back 3 years, they would be scheming for ways to rope you into their team with a sizable jump in salary. Suddenly you will find the GM from the other department getting extra nice with you. Suddenly you will find them coming all the way to have a chat with you in the parking lot. Suddenly the IT team will come and tell you that now you are eligible for a new laptop. And the best is, until now, they might have been denying you certain perks by stating that the company policy doesn't allow it. And now the policies will start to get flexible all of a sudden. The possibilities are endless. And if your time is even better, a middle level manager from your company might put a word about you to his or her friend in some other company, and you might get a better offer from there. So nice things like these are indicators that you have done great work and people can't wait to have you on their team. When any of these indicators happen, it is at this point that you realize that your old past of multiple attempts is completely written off and you are as good as a rank holder or a first attempter. Now, at the negotiation table, you will have the same power as that of your employer. Now you can bargain, now you can stand your ground and ask for that extra 3 lakh in the salary package. Now you can ask for that extra perquisite, or at least you don't have to keep quiet and accept whatever they offer. To sum it all up, I would like to share a quote of the famous comedian Steve Martin. Be so good, they can't ignore you. Now that we have been talking about resume building and creating value, I have made a specific video that will help you directly on that aspect. It will make your journey easy in your first job. The title of the video is 3 skills that every CA student must build. In case you haven't checked that video, it's here. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.